This is how I make money from here up until that just joined the live now. So I'm just giving out, the free movement of the New York session, right? So this is the US 30 that we currently are looking at. And, it has been consolidating for the longest time. It's been moving sideways. So movement like this is what we normally call sideways. And I think last week we heard about all-time high on US 30. So it simply means that, it's a matter of, are we dropping or is this thing still going to continue going up? But when we're looking at a bigger time frame, so I'm just going to go to like a bigger time frame so we can just look at this movement like that. We had like our all-time high, like I said there. Let's try and zoom it in. We had the all-time high somewhere around, I think it was like 54,000 if not mistaken. 54,842, somewhere there. That's when we had the new all-time high. But it seems like US 30 has been battling to, come back to 53, 52, because normally when US 30 decides to just shoot and give us an all-time high, we know exactly that there's a high chance that US 30 might decide to drop, right? So we've seen for the longest time when we have like an all-time high. I can name some few from weekly time frame. When we had like an all-time high here, US 30 decided to drop, came back to this point, started going up. So if you were to check from 2013, 2015, every time when we get to all-time high, we know that the movement is going to push a little bit down, sort of like taking a break and come back to shoot up. But in this case, we just want to focus on today's signal. So yesterday we saw a mini buy on US 30 New York session. I think it was somewhere, where is it? Somewhere around here, where the market went up and dropped same time. So what we're trying to achieve, or what we're looking for today, is to look whether is this thing going to push up or is going to push down. So my concern for today was this movement that is here. So my concern was this candle that is here, this space in between that is left here. So we've got too much room that US 30 might still wants to fill up. But looking at the time, it's 2:30 now. And the movement started going up, I think around 1 p.m. It started giving us this mini buy. But we understand that when you are trading these indexes, they tend to prepare themselves before time. So what do I mean by that? Every time before we get to New York session, the market usually likes to give us that breakthrough of whether are we going up or are we going down. And it's simply basics that still applies with US 30 time to time, whether you're trading NASDAQ or US 30. So it simply means that every time when the market gets to some certain points, it tends to reverse before it gives you the right direction. And when we're looking at this movement here, I'm going to cite an example. So a very straightforward movement, if the market before 3:30, this is a key note that you must bear in mind every flipping time. If the market knows that today we are preparing to give us a buy, so normally the market might decide to push a little bit up like it did. I think from here, it pushed a little bit up, giving us, a nice uptrend. But it is trying to position itself to give us an indication as to, are we going to still continue going up or are we still going to go down? Mind you, the most important part is always to look for, the spikes. If you go full margin at 3:30, sometimes you get kicked out before the movement starts to, favor your direction. So you got to be certain and make sure that every time you don't go full margin at 3:30, especially if you're trading small accounts. Small accounts could be like your 1,000, could be your $500. Don't go full margin because there is a lot of noise before 3:30, like 3:29. The market can decide to just drop and kick you out before it shoots into the right direction. So it gave us that indication to say we are positioning ourselves. So it went up. So what we're looking at here, it is to at least try to fill up this space that is here. Right. So when we're looking at this movement here, I'm on M5 time frame. So we've got this space that I'm worried about here. But remember, like I said, once I think we're like 1 hour to New York session. So normally what happens is if it doesn't get to this point, it's still okay. But what we're looking for, like I said, at exactly 3:30, which direction are we gonna get? And I can confidently tell you that today we are buying USD. There is no sell movement that I'm seeing here. The Strait of Hormuz, like I said, is open unless if it decides to shake the market, but we are looking for a buy signal. So which means when you are trading small account, like I said, USD today, it's looking good, it's looking so bright. We are hoping to see this bouncing to this point and coming back to go and retry for the second high for the week. So which means we are looking for a buy signal, but like I said, you gotta be precise with your entries. We've got this space that we are worried of here. Where it is currently, it is trying to project itself and give us an indication whether are we gonna go up or are we gonna drop. But like I said, this space here, if it gets to like 3 p.m., 3:15, and this space is still not filled, then you shouldn't worry much. Just go and take your buy and enjoy the profit for today. So exit point. So with the New York session, normally what we normally do is we tend to check how much we're targeting for the day. And I can tell you, the minute USDT decides to just push from this movement here, I'm gonna zoom it in. So the minute USDT get outside to this consolidation area, it simply means that you might be floating with local brokers. You might be floating around about like 3 to 5K. And if it push a little bit further, because you can see from this point here, there isn't much that's gonna disturb this thing for it to drop. So when we're looking at this movement here, there's only this point here that we best believe that if it gets to this point here, of which I'm gonna give you a horizontal line, if it gets to this point here, it might wanna take a break somewhere here. But with the movement, once it breaks this consolidation area here, we are expecting this thing to keep on pushing up. And like I said, this is a free signal. It's a clear buy signal today, guys. If you are going to sell USD, like I said, the only sell that we can see, it is when the Strait of Hormuz decides to do otherwise, since Trump did say that the Strait of Hormuz is open. So with this movement here, like I said, we only are worried about this space that is here. So once this space is filled, we know that we'll be ready to take our buy signal. So do not buy USDT now because it's still in the middle. So we just want to see if it's going to play around this area, then give us a buy. Today we are buying USDT. For the people that stick around on this session, please, like I said, do not go full margin at 3:30. So normally there's like 15 minutes time frame interval that normally changes the direction of the market. So I want you guys to just focus on one thing. From 3:30, when the New York session opens, count from 3:30 to quarter to see what's going to happen during the time. So at quarter to, there's a high chance that the market is going to change direction, right? So each and every 15 minutes, the market changes direction. So for example, if the market was going up, after 15 minutes, it's going to reverse. If the market was going down, after 15 minutes, it's going to start shooting up. So bear in mind 15 minutes intervals. It's something that I've noticed on NASDAQ, German 30 and US 30. It always does that each and every single time. Hence, I'm always entering my trades at 3:30, at quarter to, at old clock, quarter past, going to half past. So 15 minutes time frame always changes the direction or the trend of the market that is moving at. And I wish you nothing but luck. But like I said, today it's a straight buy. Just make sure that you enter at the right time. Like I said, I'm just worried about that space there. So should it drop before 3:30, we should be good. We're gonna get a clear buy signal. But wherever it is, if it didn't fill up that space, it is still gonna go up. But like I said, do not go in hard, do not go full margin. At least position your entries. If you're trading with local brokers, like I said, open like 2 to 3 0.01s, float about like 3 to 4k, close the profit after 15 minutes, then come back. Hope you guys, this was very informative. Like I said, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, go and open your M15 or your M5 chart. Just check what is happening after every 15 minutes on this indexes, and you thank me later.